He's a bossy husband, man. All right. Y'all ready to do this shit or what?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
All right.
How do I sound?
You sound much better than you have, dude. I'll tell you that right now. There we
Sounding like a married man.
Oh my god, that was classic. Well, fuck it. We'll leave it in. Welcome back, everyone, to Master of the Universe podcast. It's Joey here, along with the old Christopher J and the man beast Gabriel. I only call him Gabriel for the intro. The rest of the show, it's Gabe. But so.
What up, G Money?
G Money and C Money, and then J Dog. So we're talking about Thinner from 1996, and of course, like always, I always like to say, hey, is there anything going on that y'all want to talk about? Any horror news? Any hood rat news? I mean, what's going on?
Horror news. I haven't really seen much. Just been trying to keep up with Camilla Keaton. She's from that movie. Oh man, I can't think of it right now. Camilla Keaton is from that.
She sounds familiar.
Yeah, I spit on your grave. The really old classic one. She's gonna be joining some people. More so the clowns from outer space. So yeah, she's gonna be joining them, and they're gonna be having a horror convention coming up soon at that Texas gas station. So
you're always going there, man.
Oh, not always, but yeah, when they got some good guests going, I'm like, yeah, I definitely want to be there. That's like June 19th and June 20th. They're gonna be there, and then a couple of days later, there'll be Houston Horror Film Fest, and that one's gonna be in June 27th, I believe. Yeah, June 25th. No, I'm sorry. Yes. Man, I gotta get my dates all straightened up.
That's why we go. Gabe always sends me all the news and all this shit, and it's always because all the dogs here, I can't just leave them. But I'm always like, fuck, I wanted to go meet. You've met a few people. Well, yeah, the last time you were sending me a bunch of photos, man, it was pretty badass. I was like, man, he's met a shit ton of these people that we, at least the horror, community fucking really digs and shit, of course. So.
See, I say you gotta bring your dogs with you. I think they would make a good little. You can call them your hellhounds or something, and then just take them in with you to the convention.
Yeah.
Go ahead and meet some of these celebs there.
I'll be all drunk with dogs. You're driving, Gabe. Fuck it. Fuck it. You're driving. Damn it. Do that, Chris.
Yeah, and you know what? Just go ahead and take them off their chain and just let them all run loose for a little bit.
Yeah, I want to see a real
everybody loves
movie.
dogs.
Yeah, mine are fucking insane, dude. So. Oh, Christopher J, dude. So, dude, is this, I always ask you because it's I always got a story for watching this for the first time. You're the one that picked this out, so what made you want to do Thinner? Had you seen it before? I mean, what's going on?
Okay, I'd never seen it before, and I remember when the commercials came out, I wanted to. I want to say I was in 8th grade when it came out, but the thing is, I didn't, and back then, I could have asked to have gone and seen it, and someone of age would have gone with me to go. Because I think this was R, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So someone would have gone to see it because they wouldn't have thought it was terrible. At 14-year-old me, they would have taken me. We would have gone. But you know what it just was is I think I backed out of asking because I didn't want to be emotionally bothered at someone being in a weight loss thing like that. Which I was a fat fuck in 8th grade, so it's that would have gotten in my head. I knew it would, so I didn't watch it. But now here in morbid curiosity and needing to find films to talk about, that aren't fucking franchises, I picked this. Stephen King is always a good writer. His films aren't cheap startles and cheap fucking slashes. It's well written psychological shit, which I like. And because I'm a plot guy, I'm a story guy. So I figured it'd be good. It's morbid curiosity. It's the same reason I started watching Oz. When I was end of high school, early college years, everybody watched Oz, and I didn't watch it because just the descriptions people gave me was disturbing. I was that's gonna fuck with my head. It's gonna bother me. And morbid curiosity, I finally 20 years after the fact watched it, and I'm glad I did.
Okay, yeah, I had always heard about Thinner. and I think I saw it like not too long ago. I mean, it's been a few years, but I had seen it, but it didn't really spark my interest other than the fact that it's like you become like, I mean, of course, if you're into horror movies, you understand why, Stephen King's over. He's got a shit ton of books that these movies are based off of, and this is one of them, and directed by Tom Holland. I'm a big Tom Holland, I guess a fan, dude. He did the first Child's Play, I think, I believe, and then did he do Fright Night too, or that's the other guy I'm thinking of? But
no, yeah, you're right. Yeah, he helped out with Child's Play Part 1 and the remake, and then he also did Fright Night, the original one.
Okay, yeah. Him and the guy that did Fright Night 2 is one of his buddies, I believe. But yeah, and then I think the other director did Halloween 3. So I like these whoever's hanging out with Tom Holland gets over and shit. But yeah, I love Child's Play and I love Fright Night. So of course, like Thinner, it's one of those films. They kind of go. We'll get into it, but it starts off kind of funny, then it gets kind of like dark, and I like that about this film. But when I first put it on, I was like, oh, what the fuck is this cheese? And then I liked, like again how it got kind of dark on there. But what about you, Gabe? What's your history with fucking Thinner?
It was one of those that I rented it from the damn store. I ended up watching it just on a whim because I was like, oh, Thinner, it's another horror movie. I'll just, sure, why not? And I didn't really remember it too well. I just know that it was about a fat guy that's having some kind of cursed problems, and I was like, well, so having been told that we were going to end up reviewing this, I ended up rewatching it, and man, it started all coming back to me. So yeah, this was it's pretty fun watch. I vaguely have any much memories of this movie. I remember watching it. I was just like, this guy has problems. He's just trying to, gain his weight again because it's just like the title says, he's getting too thin. Yeah. So it was good. It's a good movie though. It's very funny.
Yeah. For sure. I wanted to talk about like just the actors and like. How we talked about, Tom Holland, like some of these people, at least for me, I don't know if y'all recognize them, but I'm pretty sure, like just knowing the character, that guy, Richie the Hammer, I'm sure Chris, like, because he's a mobster wannabe.
Fuck, yeah, Joey Zaza, I popped for that motherfucker.
Oh, it was like, fuck, I started laughing, dude. What's his name? Joey Mantegna, whatever the fuck.
Yeah, Joe Mantegna, very good pronunciation. That's like a true Italian, you pronounce that right there. Forget about it.
It's only going to happen once. It's only going to happen once there.
This whole movie made me pop for Godfather references because, like, Billy Halleck and the daughter are, like, imitating Marlon Brando at the breakfast scene. And then there's fucking Joey Zaza from Part 3 in this movie. I fucking love it.
Yeah, they, the main actor, Robert John Burke, he's Billy, he's the lawyer, right? And, he's from RoboCop 3, and I hadn't seen him in stuff, but I recognized him how he looks nowadays as like an older guy. He looks kind of like German and shit. And of course, dude, my girlfriend, my future wife, or should have been future wife, Kelly. What's her name? Kari Wuhrer. Is that how you say her fucking name? Kari Wuhrer. Is like the.
You know what you forgot he was in? The Billy Halleck actor. You know what you forgot he was in?
I don't know what he was in.
Tombstone.
I don't even remember him. I don't recognize him in there.
I recognize the box. I've never watched it though. Yeah. Not much into Western.
I like Western, but I didn't recognize him. Like if he, like I could probably now even watching it again, I probably wouldn't notice him because everyone else is like super over. But I feel so. Yeah, you recognize him from there, and then the judge. I don't know where I've seen him from, but he looks very familiar and shit. But yeah, like the whole film, it's about this lawyer, dude. Who wants to tell the brief synopsis of the story, dude?
I'll go ahead and do that.
You always do a great job, so let's go ahead and do that.
I'll try. Well, pretty much it's this whole movie is exactly how the title of the movie is. It's Thinner. It's about this pretty much this fat cat badass lawyer. He's all goofy and doesn't really care much about his weight. He just keeps snacking. You know, he tries diets. He's not progressing. He's not losing weight as much as everybody wants him to. He's just an overweight fat cat. Well, anyways,
he's not talking about you, Chris. He's not talking about you.
As far as his town goes, you know, everybody's all, you know, they're all friends. They're all buddies with each other. Everybody works with each other. Everyone knows everyone pretty well. Well, guess who comes to town is these gypsies. These gypsies come to town. They just pass through town to town, and they're holding like their own little carnival and their own little things, just passing on through, but they're gaining a lot of unwanted attention from this town. As it leads up, as the story goes, all of a sudden one of the gypsies happens to be crossing the street while the fat cat lawyer accidentally hits her with a damn car, ends up killing her. Well, you would think justice would be served, you know, like, oh, let's take him to court, let's go ahead and do the whole 9 yards, but because this is a small town, and like I said, everyone's friends, everyone's buddy, everyone knows each other, they're all family and friends of the family kind of thing. Well, they go ahead and get him out of that. Instead of him paying for justice, you know, him getting in trouble, well, they go ahead and pull him out of that and say it was a clear accident. You know, they all pulled some strings. He doesn't get in trouble. Well, the gypsies didn't like that. They felt like there was no justice served. So what happens? They end up throwing a curse on him. They throw the curse on him. All of a sudden, because, you know, he's an overweight fat cat, he starts losing weight. But he doesn't just lose a little bit of weight. All of a sudden, he's starting to lose pounds, like, by the hour. He's losing, like, 5-10 pounds an hour. And at first, he's all, like, getting proud of himself. Like, yeah, I'm doing something right. You know, he's patting himself on the back. Wife's all proud of him. Friends are all complimenting him. Well, then he starts realizing it's starting to get a little out of hand. And he starts really losing weight till he's down to 120s, and he's like near his death. Well, he finds out it's the gypsies. He goes ahead and fights with the gypsies. He gets one of the friends, you know, being a badass lawyer, you know, he helps somebody get out of trouble also, so he gets their support. He ends up getting the help that he needs to try to, you know, stop this curse. As of course, you know, being Stephen King, he's trying to make little twists at the ends of these little stories, so
yeah.
As it comes down to the end, you know, spoiler alert, you know, he loses the curse, but the people he loves around him pays for the price. You know, is it really his fault? Is that justice? I don't know. It's one of those things you kind of have to watch the damn.
Gabe, I got to tell you something here, because I just want you to know, we are a woke podcast. We are progressive. We are enlightened people. We're not these backwards hillbillies. They are Romani Americans. They're not gypsies.
You know what? Funny enough that you say that, you are correct. I was corrected on that, because I've always understood, like, these past films, like, when they portray stuff like this, you know, I always took it as, like, oh, gypsies, they must be, like, a type of, you know, I don't know, like you're saying, you know, we're not hillbillies, but a type of people that just kind of band together talking about, you know, any kind of spirituality and things like that. But I have been informed that this is considered more of a racist thing now.
Yes. Okay.
And at some point or another, I don't know when that's changed, because I don't know anybody personally that is, you know, Romania, like what you're saying.
Well, Gabe, let me kind of give you the.
Oh shit!
I can tell you about gypsies. So they're a group of people, and I've known this since high school.
Of course you have.
Because I watched a little video documentary about it back then. Gypsies are an ethnic group of people. They're like the Jews. They're one of those people that they started in one piece of land and they wandered all over the world and mixing in with the local ethnicities. They did, like, you know, like in Ethiopia, Jews are black. You know, in Germany, Jews are white. You know, like, for example. But, like, you know, gypsies are people from northern India near the border with China. And they're these northern Indian people that fled for whatever the fuck reason, nobody knows. Mm-hmm. And they mainly made their way into, like, Southeast Europe, eventually all the way up even into Britain and Ireland. There's a few of them there. But mainly their main heartland is like Eastern and Southeastern Europe. So like Borat was filmed in a gypsy village in Romania.
Oh, wow.
Like the part where he's all with those foreigners and that poor village stuff, that's a gypsy village in Romania. I know a guy that I worked with back at Harlan Clark. He was in the Army, and he was stationed in Germany. And him and his buddies, they were off duty one night, and they went out drinking. And they went to a gypsy village. And the gypsy, like the men were like, don't you come in here, this is our village. And they fucking went anyway, and they got their ass kicked, and they ran out.
Oh, wow.
Did one of them have a putter, dude?
Yes.
Romanis, we'll just call them the fucking Romanis so Chris doesn't get offended, dude. So the Romanis, okay, and the Romani gypsies, Joe, you fucking asshole. So yeah, Drag Me to Hell, yeah, that's it. Kind of like it's similar. I saw that with you, right, Chris, on HBO one of those nights that I told you, Ray.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, because Ray was like, it's a fucking great movie, and I was like, I liked it. I think it was like, oh my god, but I liked it, Yeah, I didn't say it was great. I said it was pretty cool, and he did that face. I'm like, okay, all right, kid. But so I was just kind of like laughing at this movie because it starts off like he said, like ridiculous with him eating nonstop, dude. Like he's like, I think he's in court and he's eating chips and shit. It's like, what the fuck? I was like, just and then as we go along. He like even when he's losing the weight, everything that that he does is like over the top. Like there's that one scene where he's like hanging out with his daughter and like he's already like lost a lot of weight, right? And he's just like going to town. He's like like the way Chris does normally though. Like he's like waving the food to be passed down to him, and he's eating the corn and all kinds of shit. And I was just like, okay, like that's that's like the only like thing I thought that was like dumb in the movie. I mean, there's a lot of dumb shit, but it was fine. But I was just like, he's like it's like comical the way he's eating the whole time and shit. Like
yeah, and he goes up the stairs, and then his legal partner after he wins the case, he's like, "Come on, Billy, you got to take some pounds off here."
After he reaches the top of the stairs, he's like heavy breathing. He's having some serious health issues. But yet, he still finds a way to go ahead and sneak in. Didn't he sneak in a little candy bar, like, real quick? He was just like, oh, let me just stuff this in my mouth while I'm heavily breathing.
Yeah.
I mean, like, geez, catch your breath first before you start stuffing your mouth. But
I was, go ahead.
My wife, Rosie, here is like, we were watching this a couple nights ago. We popped for that 1996 bag of Doritos.
Doritos are good. I ain't gonna lie to you, kid. Mark was messaging me, dude, so I apologize. I didn't pop right away. But I liked the vehicle, the what are they called? The Romanowskis.
Romana Americans. Romani Americans. I think I said that right.
Chris is like, what the?
The reason people called them gypsies was because when they came to Europe at first, people thought they were from Egypt.
What?
I'm getting smarter by the minute.
I know. I'm like, are we taking a test? Is this a test podcast or what the fuck's?
Yeah.
But so I have to say, dude, Kari Wuhrer, I know her from I don't know if it's Hellseeker or it's Deader. So I can't wait till we get to like the Hellraiser podcast, like through those, because they're all kind of like different. They're all ridiculous films, kind of like the way this one is. Like, but it's to me at least enjoyable. I don't think it's like anything amazing, but like I have a good time just watching something random and whatever. And I think I probably saw that first before I saw Thinner when like whatever that was released like in 2005 or something like that. And I saw her, and I was like, man, this chick's fucking fine. You know, I was just telling myself. And then I put this on. I'm like, I've seen this chick before. And I was like, who is this? You know, and I was like, oh, she came out in Deader. And here, this is like 10 years before Deader, so she's like in her prime, dude. And when she lifted up that skirt, dude, to show off those little rainbow panties,
I honestly didn't remember that part. So
you didn't
so
you didn't pause it?
No, I definitely did. I had to see it, but I'm saying like back then when I first watched it,
okay.
I don't remember that. But then when I go ahead and when I was rewatching it, I was thinking, I was like, man, is she gonna do it? Is she gonna lift that skirt for the quarter? Is she going to do it? And she does it. And I was like, yep, they're yellow. I like it.
Well, I like when his buddy, I guess he's like another lawyer too or something. They're like talking about it. They're like, oh, if you give her this coin, she'll lift up your dress. I think he says something like she like stops and stares, and he goes, "What's wrong? You think she heard you or whatever?" I like that. Like, there's some kind of supernatural element with all of them, even though like the main guy, you know.
I think what happened was that he goes up the. He reaches the top floor of his building, and his fellow lawyer guy was like, "Look, I want to show you something." He's all, "Did you check out that nice piece of lady? You know, I'm putting it nicely, over there across the street." He's all, "Oh, how can I miss her?" And he's all, "Look." He pulls out a quarter, and then he's all like, "Look, I want you to offer her this quarter to see if she'll lift up her skirt." The moment he says that, the girl ends up looking back as if, you know, she heard him. And he gets all freaked out. He makes that face like, "Oh man!"
And he goes downstairs to get. I think if I remember, he goes downstairs to get to his car. He looks her way, and she flicks him off.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's when he goes down there. She starts like doing all that and all that bullshit, and yeah, then she flips him off. But that's after she shows him, you know, the panties, the goods, dude.
Yeah, she goes ahead and starts rubbing her cleavage and everything, and she pulls out a quarter.
Yeah.
And then she's all playing with her skirt, and then picks it up, but then she ends up flicking him off. So then he's all like, "Oh, yeah, never mind. I'm married. I can't do this." So he goes and shuffles his way into the damn car and takes off.
I laugh when he's like right away, like the movie starts off and he's like lies about his weight because he hits the flat 300, and then I wink at Chris. And then she's all like, well, you know, so, and he tells his wife, "What, 297? You were 297 last week." So he gained like 3 pounds. He's like, well, you know, with these diets or whatever the fuck, it takes a while to come off, and he's like eating the whole time. I'm like, this fucking jackass, dude. I was just kind of like this character anyway. So it made it like good though when he starts losing the weight, because he ends up losing like 6 pounds in one day, and then I wink at Chris again. When he's over there playing golf with everyone, and the judge tells him like something that he got some kind of skin thing.
Yeah, they're in the shower after they're done playing golf. They get in the showers, and he tells them, "Thanks for tipping me off on that detective agency, and then they helped me out with that gypsy man." He said, "Hey, you know that guy touched me in the chest. Look right here."
Yeah, I think he's he goes, and then I love the scene with his wife, because he like. He goes over there, and she gives like a pretty over performance. She's like, "Do you believe in?" I think she says something like, "Do you believe in gypsy curses?" And she's like really selling it, like that. And she talks about how that gypsy man touched, you know, her husband, the judge. And he's like, "When he touched you, did he say something?" He's like, "I gotta go." And he's like, you know, she starts selling for her, like, because you did this and you did that. And then he's all like, "Well, your husband was way too, you know, down for it, basically, to like get him off with all that bullshit." Because basically what happens, what you explained earlier, is that like, yeah, he hits the gypsy wife. Well, no, his daughter. It's his daughter. Yeah.
You thought it was his wife. There's 2 of the Romania Americans happened to be inside the drugstore, and they happened to be getting like some ointment, because the main head leader, which is his name is Lempke, he's like the leader of these Romania American people. Well, he has like a huge kind of cancer sore on his nose, so he's in the pharmacy trying to get some medicine. Well, anyways,
King, the druggist.
Yeah, and Stephen King happens to be the pharmacist, which I thought was pretty neat. He just has like that. I don't know. He looks like he would be a pharmacist.
He's perfect when he shows up with those little roles like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he does like a whole Stan Lee, like, cameo kind of things. I mean, what if you're writing the damn books? Why wouldn't you pop up in your own movie, right?
Yeah.
Like, but anyway, so they're there in the they're in the pharmacy and they're getting ointment. Well, anyways, there's an older lady with them. They don't even say who it is. They just know that she's, related to him. You just assume it's the wife. Anyways, she ends up taking off across the out the door. While the fat cat lawyer, he ends up him and his wife end up fooling around. So what does she do? She's all, she's going to town on his junk, while he's driving, and that's why he's not paying attention to the road. Ends up hitting her and killing her. So of course, that ends up leading up to court. Ends up leading to court, and then they're all his other fat cat buddies, the judge, the police officer, other fellow lawyers. Everybody's like, there's certain people that are involved in it that could kind of twist everything around to where he doesn't get in trouble.
Right. He doesn't even go. They just have a hearing. He doesn't even go to trial for even for the lightest manslaughter charge you possibly have. He doesn't even go to trial for even that. And this is what I call the Tales from the Crypt element of this, which I told Joey when the first time I watched this, that this feels very much like a long Tales from the Crypt episode. Because here's this guy, and his character, it's always, because it's all about someone with a character flaw. So his character flaw is he's this gluttonous lawyer who not only does he have the problem of gluttony, but he also has the problem of being a defense lawyer that, does all kinds of dirty tricks to win defense trials. So he's got two major flaws. And now it's coming back to bite him in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I was laughing at like when all that, like right before, like, he's getting the blowjob on his way home, and I was just kind of like laughing because like they had won the case, so because of all that going on, they're like, oh, let's go celebrate. And like they're bringing like that dessert tray or cart around, and they're all down, boy, down. He's all excited to eat. I'm like, who the fuck would want to go down on their man? After him like sweating and eating all that shit, like like go ahead and suck my dick on the way home. I'm like, what the fuck is the stupidest? I mean, I know they have to do the setup, but it was just kind of like, okay. Like he could barely stay up there. Like, it's all I think about is food. Like he was like saying all that, and I'm like, oh my god, this is a. But again, that's that Tales from the Crypt, element, like you said. And I like it. It's like that over the top, like you said, character flaw. It's an evil twist. This whole movie's like that. Like there's always like that shock moment. Speaking of shocker, we gotta do shocker. So. He ends up kind of like disappearing. Like I like this whole little twist that like that like his doctor, that he thinks his doctor's fooling around with his wife and shit. So it kind of like that's a good add-on because it's like he's going through all this shit, and then he has to worry about in the back of his head like, man, my fucking wife's fucking around, but I gotta get my shit situated first before I come after her and all that. So that's like a good.
I gotta say, don't mean to interrupt, but that is what I loved about this movie. Was what prevented this movie from being a long ass Tales from the Crypt episode. Not instead of 54 minutes of some guy or woman with a character flaw, eventually circumstances tragically end them in some way. But now it's kind of thing where there's some other dynamic at play perpendicular to his path. And that's going to fuck up that. So it doesn't just slowly over an hour and a half, you see this gluttonous, dirty tricks lawyer slowly die. Now there's another thing at play that could take the story a whole nother way, and I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that they added that element instead of it just being like he's a dumbass. You got to start feeling sorry for him as the film goes along. You're like, well, at first you're like laughing at him, and then you see him kind of morph into being like the way he really is. And one of my we didn't talk about the main guy. What'd you say his name was? The Lemke or whatever.
Lemke, yeah, Lempke, Lemke.
So I'm gonna ask you, Chris. So when he went up to him and he goes thinner, did you take that as a threat, dude?
I did. Oh my god! And I was first of all, dude looks like freaking Frankie Blinddrive's grandfather, man.
This Native American guy that we always fuck around with Chris because they got into this little debate about nonsense, but so yeah, every Native American, yeah, and the thing is that you had mentioned that they're from like a part of India, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know shit about any of that, so I was like laughing when I guess there's some truth to it, but truth to what I had thought originally and what you're saying is like when fast forwarding when Billy goes and finds him at the carnival, right? And he's like, oh, mister, I see your future, like you just stand there he goes 159, and then next week it'll be 143, and then after that he's like, oh, mister, we don't want to think about that. And he sounds like an Indian, yeah, I started laughing. I was like, is he supposed to be from India? Because that's the way his accent, sounds. And then I guess that's how they're supposed to sound or whatever. But I thought it was funny. I was like, he sounds like he's from India. Like it's from, was it Dalcium from Street Fighter and shit? I got a pop.
What? I mean, this movie was really good, and like, as much as like we were saying, like, yeah, you're right, that this is like a really long Tales from the Crypt episode, where it's always goofy, there's character flaws, and then it just leads up to, some never-ending horror torture, or some kind of bad juju by the end of it. It just takes a bad twist at the end. I think the idea of this movie is not so much as just like, just like bad morals and stuff like that. But I think this movie is very triggering to people that have a lot of weight issues. I think if people that are overweight, or people that have anorexia or bulimic, this movie is probably a little triggering, if not terrifying to them. In comparison to someone that's pretty comfortable with how they live every day, to them, they'll probably see this as more of a Tales from the Crypt. But the horror out of this whole movie, I think, would very much affect those people that have body dysmorphia, people that are all these mental disabilities with weight issues. People that were picked on. It's
emotionally disturbing for them.
Oh, definitely. I think this whole movie would be extremely scary for them just because of that. And I mean, like, it's just, I think it would be very triggering, very terrifying for them. Anybody else, I think they would treat this as like, oh yeah, this is hilarious. Oh, look at this. Honestly, I thought about this movie as, I was thinking a lot about it as I was watching it. And as the guy is proceeding throughout this movie, getting thinner, you see his skin hanging down. You see it like hanging down from, like, I could not get my eyes away from his cheeks, like where his cheeks and his neck are. Yes. Like they look like kind of like gills or something, but like little flaps of skin as he's getting thinner. At one point he actually looked normal, and I don't even think he was wearing any kind of, latex or anything like that makes him look.
It's that cheesy 90s makeup job they did to make him fat at the beginning. Like, you can tell when you look at him in the early part of the movie, it's some normal, regular, thin body guy that they put, things on and makeup on and put stuffing in his shirt to make him look fat, when that's not what a person that fat would actually be body shaped like.
When there's overweight people, I've seen so many different shapes. And and even just to put it out there too, I was like 260 pounds myself.
I don't believe it. I don't fucking believe it.
I know. I couldn't believe it myself. But 260 pounds, I'm like down to like 170, and I stay like at least around 170 or 180. But my issue was just more, I just stopped eating. And just, I was just bored one day, and I was just like, why not just exercise? So I just started doing that kind of stuff. So me watching this, I was like, at first I was just like, this is funny. And then I was like, you know what? There are people that actually have, like, real issues with this kind of thing. And, they get diabetes. They have, they get that, what's that called? The gasket bypass. They staple their, and they staple their stomach. These people go to extremes, taking all kinds of medications. They're doing all kinds of infomercials and stuff that they see that, if you do this today, you'll lose 20 pounds in the next week or so. And
if they do a remake, I don't want to cut you off, but like just you bringing that up, if they do a remake, that would be so perfect. If they added like the first 10 minutes of him just like, going after all the fads, this is supposed to help you lose weight, but he's like eating the whole time.
It would. That would be like, well, personally to me, I think that would be hilarious.
Yeah.
Just seeing him do stuff, Weight Watchers, doing the whole Jenny Craig. They had all kinds of what's that other one? The other guy with the little afro, and he was telling all the overweight people.
Richard Simmons or
Richard Simmons. I was gonna say Gene Simmons, but I was like, no, that's not right.
He's got an afro too, though. That's good.
Yeah. But yeah, I think this movie is definitely horrifying, but it's more horrifying to those people that have weight issues. And I just kind of wanted to make sure that I brought that up at some point, just so people don't think that we're just talking, because talking about curses and then just an overly weight fat guy, that it does sound kind of like, it's just some fat guy who's just losing a lot of weight. How scary is that? As we're going to start pinpointing like some of the more intense issues, like, what he's doing, he starts realizing like how scary it is, him losing weight drastically. And he even eats even more because he's trying to keep it up without losing too much weight too fast.
Yeah.
There was a scene where he was sitting down with his family, and he realizes like how much calories he's losing. So he's eating like a bunch of chicken. He's like eating all kinds of stuff. He even tells his daughter, pass me all the corn on the cobs. He's like,
I know, he'll think he's fucking hungry, dude. I'm like, I wish I could eat like a fucking pig and lose weight.
Yeah, she asked him if there's such thing as menopause for men.
Yeah, she just. Yeah, he was making me hungry. He's throwing down on the corn, and he ends up like throwing food against the wall when him and his wife are arguing. His wife's pretty fine. She's like a little older, but she's got a nice look to her. I've seen her before too, but I just don't recognize her from exactly where.
She's like a short-haired Vanna White.
Yeah, exactly. No, yeah, I liked her. She reminds me of like a chick that came out in Puppet Master whenever we get to it. She has like a similar look, but yeah, I was I like the kind of wave it took you on that at first, like you're like, oh, this guy's a bozo, and then like, oh, well, he's fucking like he's losing weight and he's eating all he wants, and you're like, shit, I wish I could do that, and then you start seeing that he starts, like you say, you start freaking out, all the different, things start going through your head, like, oh, maybe I'm sick or something, like he doesn't want to think it's like a gypsy, or maybe I'm sick, and he's going through all that too, like towards the end, to where, oh yeah, it would be nice to have this, but then you're there on the fucking park bench, barely have any kind of life to you because you're freaking, deteriorating. And I had read that they were going to make him look like, I guess, kind of the way the judge looked, like the lizard man looked, like real, like fucking crazy looking, but they decided not to. I was like, man, that would have been pretty good because he looked like shit, all like drained or whatever. But if they were going to make it showing like that he had flesh, like his flesh was real, showing and shit like that. So that if they do remake it again, they should be, adding those elements. That'd be fucking, pretty amazing.
Babe, who did you say the old man 106-year-old gypsy leader was in what movie?
My Big Fat Greek Wedding, the dad.
Oh, yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I've only seen that once, dude. So I'm not off the top of my head. I guess we're gonna have to do my Big Fat Greek Wedding.
My
Right?
Big Fat Greek Wedding.
Yeah.
Is he really big and fat in there, or is it just talking about,
Just
I've never seen the movie. I honestly don't know what
It's another thing. It's like that dude is really good at playing ethnic stereotypes. Greeks, Romani, whatever.
Really? Yeah, I'm not familiar with that movie. Yeah, I'm sure he's probably been in something else. He does not come to mind. But in this particular movie, he was pretty great, though. He was pretty terrifying in here.
Yeah, I liked him in the whole film. Like when he stabs his hand, like because he's before we get to the hand stabbing. So we got to talk about Joe Mantegna's character, because he's like a big character towards the end of it. He's all like, hey, whatever, do you believe in gypsy curses? And he's all like, I only believe what I can feel and touch. He's like tuck or some shit like that. And his name's Richie. That's right. And
the whole time with him, I'm waiting for, like at the beginning of the movie, I was waiting for him to give Billy Halleck the MOTU award.
I don't know what the fuck that is, Chris.
Godfather 3, Antonio Meucci, who invented the telephone, but Alexander Graham.
I've never seen all of Godfather 3, man. You're too over for your own good, Chris. That's what it is. You're too over for your own good. But I was like laughing because I'm like, how is this guy gonna be, inserted in the film? And basically, like, he's a hitman or whatever the fuck he is, like some big shot. And in the beginning of the film, Billy gets him off for whatever he did, right? And I like that he comes after the whole, I guess I'll call them the tribe, the Romani tribe or whatever you want to call them, right? And I started laughing because he's got like an AK or something. They're just there in the middle of like this field. He's just like, I'm like, what? Like what the fuck is going on? This movie went from being like, it started getting scary to like, again, ridiculous again. And then he shows up the next day impersonating an FBI agent and shit. And I was just like, oh my God. And he's like, move again, bitch. He's like, this is acid and all this and that. He's gonna put like acid on her, on Kari Wuhrer's character. And
dude, that was pretty great. He was throwing her around. He was like bumping. He hit her head on the ladder that in this hidden barn. It was he was throwing her around, roughing her up, and then he goes ahead and throws. He's all, take this acid. And she's like all screaming, oh no, and then all of a sudden he's all like, oh, quiet. It was just water and soda pop.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't. He's all, it wasn't no acid, but this is the real stuff here. So he drops a little bit, and it burns like her sweater.
Yeah.
So she's like, oh snap. Well, to keep her in place, because he was planning on killing that chick, but then the fat cat lawyer ends up saying, no, don't do it, don't kill her. All right, I'm not gonna kill you, but that's only because my friend said not to. So he ends up he gets a real jar of acid. And he's all like, he ends up sending a message saying, tell your friend to go ahead or tell your dad or your granddad to go ahead and take off this curse for my friend. And he goes ahead and puts that real acid. She's laying on her back, and he puts the real acid, a jar of acid, on her forehead. And he's all like, I wouldn't make any sudden moves. Because it'll make you look really funky, So I was like, man, that was really good, though.
What I love about that was, because my friend, I remember that because my friend said not to, like that's right, like this fucking Richie the Hammer has the same kind of loyalty to Billy Halleck that fucking Carlito Brigante, motherfucker to the max, had to Davy Kleinfeld.
Hey, Kleinfeld. Yeah, man, same shit. And part of that I wanted to jump to the carnival scene, like kind of rewinding back. Oh well, there's like two other scenes I want to talk about. The carnival scene when we see all those dolls, and it's like the judge, the cop. We didn't talk about the cop that turns into like he has some kind of shit going on his face or whatever. And then also, what the fuck was I gonna say? There was another fucking. Oh, the guy. He's like what did he say? The guy that Richie hires to go find out where the Romanis are hiding out, and then they end up like killing him and stuffing the chicken in his mouth and shit. He was like, I forgot what word he used. It was a mook or something like that.
Yeah, he called him a mook. He says like, oh man, he's all. he ends up saying like, "Oh man, he's all well. Now it's revenge or it's payback now."
Yeah.
And they're all like, "Well, he's all." They ended up killing that guy. He was a mook, but hey, he was my mook.
Yeah, it was my.
Forget about it.
Yeah, he was so proud of it. He's all like, "That was my mook."
Yeah, I was thinking, I was like, when I heard that, I was like, oh, I know Chris popped for that. He was a mook, but he was my
Sure
mook.
as fuck did. He's a mook. He's a fugazi. He's a Ricky Ewan. Forget about it.
Forget about it. Yeah, I like those little touches that I guess, I mean, you unless you seen the movie maybe twice and or you pay attention really well. I had missed it because I like every time we do these reviews, like I usually put it on a few times, like because like I always like to see things. I'm like, oh, like that I may have missed, and like when they go to that carnival where they're at or circus, whatever you want to call it, and they have the little dolls like or for the prizes, and it's Billy, the judge, and the cop or whatever his name is, Judge Phillips and whatever the fuck, and they're like dolls of them, and I was like, man, that's so fucking weird looking, like the way the judge turns into that lizard, like his face looks all like mud, crusty mud and shit, and then the other guy didn't have it half bad, but compared to the other guys, but he's like, here, kill that gypsy, whatever the fuck, and he's just like, kill him, take my gun, and then he ends up shooting himself, and I was like, oh shit, this movie just got dark, dude.
It did, and that was like you end up finding out that he wasn't the only one cursed. See, he got the slowest curse out of them all. Yeah. The other ones kind of took place like real instantly. Like you said, the other one, he ended up getting cursed with lizard. And so what happened, his skin looked all scaly. It looked nasty. Like you said, it looked more like crusty mud. Yeah. And he was just like falling. But during that sequence, what you were talking about, where you saw all the dolls that were all cursed, and it was of all those characters, that was the whole dream sequence.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, he ends up visiting the police officer, and he ends up visiting him, and then he has like some kind of cancer or something that ends up taking up like half of his body, and so like you said, he ends up giving the fat cat lawyer, here's my gun, and I want you to shoot him and say it was from me.
Yeah.
And he's all like, no, I can't kill anybody. And he's like, no, take my gun. No. Take my gun. They're going back and forth, man. They're yelling it out, and he's all, no. Well, anyways, the fat cat lawyer's like all upset, and he's just like, no, I can't deal with this. I'm leaving. I'm done. Take it.
Yeah.
And so he closes the damn door. He's all, take it forever. And then boom, you just hear a gunshot, and he's like, oh shit, man. And so anyways, later on, he ends up going back home, and there he is again eating, because this time he's just trying to keep up the weight, not lose anymore. So he's just eating. His wife comes in, and she's all acting all worried. Oh, I was worried about you, and
yeah.
Anyways, he ends up saying, yeah, well, I had a chance to take a gun. You what? Yeah, I had a chance to take the police officer's gun, but I said no, but I think I should have, because then I heard a gunshot. Ha ha ha! He starts going crazy. He starts losing his shit, but he doesn't know how to handle it, because again, he's having that whole back of the mind thing with he thinks his wife is already sleeping with his doctor.
The doctor.
Yeah, so at that point, he's just like, I need to survive. I'll deal with your dumbass later for cheating, I gotta save my ass. So he's trying to think. They end up recommending him going to this clinic where they can do tests and studies, and he knows if he ends up staying there, he's just gonna end up dying.
Yeah.
So they're just like, fuck this. He's I ain't gonna stay here. He went for one day. They did tests. They couldn't find shit, and now he knows, like, okay, if he didn't find shit the first go around, there was no tapeworm. I don't have cancer. You can't find shit. I know I'm gonna be dead if I stay here any longer. So fuck this. I'm out. So he knows I'm going to follow up on this whole tribe Romania people.
Yeah, that's when Richie, like, I think what finally gets the head guy, the top dog, Lemke, to take off the curse. I think it's like when they take Kari Wuhrer's like boyfriend or husband, and he throws him down the hill, and they ended up shooting him by accident or some shit. I started laughing. I was like, how can you not tell the difference, you know? And that's when he goes, okay, you know, white man from town, and that's when he goes and brings that pie, and he stabs him through the hand, and it goes into the pie.
They're sitting on the park bench.
Yeah.
And he's got the fucking cast on his hand, stabs through the hand, and his fucking blood makes that fucking pie dance. He's like, but you gotta get everyone to eat it, though.
Well, yeah, he was saying, whoever, you have to pass on the curse to somebody else, some shit like that. And that's when, like, just when you thought, you know, shit was getting dark, it kept on going to where they had that Tales from the Crypt where it was dark, but it kind of like made you giggle too. He goes and he wants to get back at his wife, and it was fucked up. Like, he wakes up and like his wife's next to him, or like that made you think like, well, is she cheating? Because you couldn't, like, there wasn't like a certain, I mean, you felt like she was or whatever, but he shows up and she's just there like listening to some audio book or music and just on her couch, you know, thinking that he's not going to be there for days or whatever the fuck. And he ends up feeding her the pie or whatever the fuck, and he wakes up and she's all like, just like, you know, bones. And I was like, oh, it's messed up. How can you do that to somebody that you've been married to, you know, and shit. And that's when he goes downstairs and he finds out that his daughter got home early, or, you know, came back at night and had like a piece of pie, and then she like puts her finger in the pie and she goes, I like strawberry or whatever the fuck. And he's like getting ready.
That was nasty when she did that. She just stuck her finger in it and just like ate it, and I was like, fuck, that didn't even look like cherry. It looked like some kind of nasty meat or something that got left over.
Yeah, it looked. I was like, what? But that's that over the topness, you know, where they're like, ooh, you know, she's like, whatever. And that's when he's getting ready to eat it, but the fucking doorbell rings. It's the doctor. He's like, oh, he's like, surprised to see me, whatever. And Chris has got the putter in the hand, like, okay, come on in, you know.
I insist.
Yeah, and exactly. Oh no, I took care of everything between me and, you know, whatever his wife's name is, and I liked all that. So kind of like, again, that Tales from the Crypt ending where it's like, oh, he's gonna bring everyone down with him like a piece of shit.
Having his suspicions that his wife is cheating on him with his doctor, and there was even a couple of times he's even mentioned, he's all, oh yeah, you know, my wife is definitely cheating on me with my doctor, and they're all, well, how do you know? Well, I came home early one time and then I saw his car leave my driveway. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what does that mean? Well, I asked my wife about it, and she said he just, for a quick visit, yeah, he was just concerned, you know, just to see how she was doing. And, you know, throughout this whole movie, though, you have your suspicions, but there is no clear evidence that they show that they really are sleeping together. Because, like, he walks into a room where they're together, and they're holding hands, but they're not holding hands, like, romantically. If you see, like, the way his hand is coupled over her hands, it just looks like he's concerned. Because at that point, they're talking about... Because he overheard about trying to... they were trying to get a lawyer, right? No, not a lawyer. They were trying to get something to where they can send him to get some help about his weight issue. Okay. Because he was spouting out about, you know, it's a curse, and now he's starting to display, like, mental illness.
Yeah.
There's several... Oh, what happened?
Well, we got a dissenting opinion on this. Like, what was it you said that she was?
The wife's like adjusting her pants from the kitchen from that one scene when the daughter's like, "Oh, mom's in the kitchen. Do you want me to go get her?" And then she's like, "Oh," and then she's like rushing in.
That's right.
Room. I don't know where they're at. The living room, right?
That's right.
Yeah,
Catch that.
That's right.
that is true. I don't know. It's
They're like they're like hinting at it, right? Yeah, he ends up calling like, no, she's here with so and so, whatever the doctor's name is, and yeah, she comes running in, and she's over there fixing the pants, dude. You know, doing the whole.
Because common mistakes like that. I mean, it's not even mistakes, but like something like that could actually happen. Like, what if she was like sitting in the other room, all of a sudden they're like, "Hey, Dad's home." Oh, okay, but her skirt just happened to be crinkled up in like the couch or something like that.
I just so happen to have my dick in her. What's the big deal?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like her hair just happened to be messed up, you know?
Yeah.
She had bedhead or something. She ends up getting up, running to the next room, and she's like, What happened? Why are you fixing yourself? Well, I was laying down and you caught me at a weird moment. Honestly, I've had a couple of weird, awkward moments like that myself where it just looks funny, but there is a legit reason for it, but things like that do look kind of
Everyone
weird.
has. I mean, that's human. Like that shit like that in life is going to happen. Like, oh my God, a couple times I've been in situations like that, and I'm like, oh my God, thank God, like the people I was, they were understanding and reasonable about it, but good God, it could just as easily have gone the other way.
Yeah, exactly, and I kind of like, or thank goodness, like, you have some sort of backup, like if someone was there, like, no, he was just off the phone and we were talking about something. Oh, good, I'm glad you were here, to back me up on this. I kind of feel like we're watching it through his whole perspective, but we actually don't catch the woman with the doctor in those moments. Like when he was arguing about the fact about taking the officer's gun when he was starting to go a little mad. Before that whole, like, right before it, he started looking in the window and he sees, like, imagery of his wife and that doctor, making out. Just going
at the 40-minute marks where that happens, like, he's in the fucking house and he sees this holographic illusion of his wife and the doctor hugging each other, making out, yeah.
Right, and with that whole mental illusion, and because how distressed he is, as much as you're losing weight, I mean, you're probably going to be a little lightheaded. And he's under a lot of stress because he knows death is coming soon. He can't get a hold of the gypsy people, Romanian tribe, and he can't. And he has this feeling that the doctor's in some way involved in all this. I want to give the doctor the benefit of the doubt. I guess that's what I'm trying to put here. I want to give him the benefit of the doubt that maybe he really is concerned, but maybe not so much as the husband. And if he is interested in the wife, like he is terribly concerned for her, I want to say that once he's out of the picture, then he's like, okay, I'll move in, because I like her. I haven't slept with her. I haven't made out with her. I haven't done anything with her. But the moment we can put him away or if I can try to convince her to call divorce or something, then I'm going to make my move. And I kind of feel like maybe I want to give him that benefit of the doubt that he's waiting. He's one of those sneaky people.
Yeah, which led me to a thought I had a couple days ago. I was saying to myself, look, okay, this is a very upper middle class, wealthy family in this upper middle class town, suburb, whatever, in New England. Okay? A family like that, they're not going to do stupid, ridiculous stuff that could cause disastrous consequences like blow your husband in the car at night when you're driving home. They're not going to do something, as much as they might be tempted, they're not going to do something stupid, ridiculous like that could cause complete downfall, disaster of the family, unless you, the wife, are doing that because it could lead to some disasters, and if it leads to some disasters, it's going to go on your husband, not you. He gets put away, and now you're free to do what you want to do with a good doctor.
And you're an evil person, Chris.
I mean, she does display throughout this movie, she does display a lot of concern for him and his health. She's constantly wanting to seek help for him, for this fat cat lawyer, her husband. She even displayed, if you want, affection for him, because that's what started this whole thing, is by that car accident, because as big as the guy he is, if she really disliked him, I don't think she would be even attempting to want to do that. She'd be like, no, I'm getting the D somewhere else. I don't need it from my own husband. I got it from someone who's skinnier, a lot healthier,
That's the thing too, is like if she was like messing around, I don't think she'd be like the one to like, let me go suck it on your way home, like why would she be all spontaneous and like that if she wasn't into him,
Right, and exactly. Like I kind of feel like with the amount of concern she had, and she's upset, and then with her, she has like a family. She has like a perfect. I don't even think she's even working. Is she? She didn't mention anything about having a job. I think she has like a good lifestyle, thanks to him, because he's the fat cat lawyer. And then for her to go ahead and just go down on him is showing some type of affection.
Yeah, she's like trying to get him like to do better, and like why would she like? Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, she even has the little it's not
Excel,
even an Apple like iPod or anything. It's like some kind of weird old computer. I mean, this is '96, so I mean computers were real big and clunky at the time. But she has like a little display map, and she's keeping up with them. She even said like, "Oh, so how much are you weighing? Oh, I'm weighing 297. That's what you weighed last week." She's keeping track of them like constantly. So I
get off my back, woman.
Yeah, really. And he's all like, she even made him a healthy, I don't know, some kind of purple health shake. Yeah. That thing looked nasty. But I mean,
like a Metrix to me.
Besides his curse and his overwhelming torture of everything that he's going through, and I mean, he even got to kind of give a little better understanding about the whole hand stabbing. He even got his hand was already damaged the first time.
Ooh, yeah,
because he was when he came to the Romania people to go ahead and try to convince them like lift this curse. The damn the Heidi woman, the hot girl, she ended up shooting a ball bearing right through his hand, caused like a clear hole right through his hand.
Yeah.
So I mean, this guy is going through all. He's gone through a lot of shit because of one damn clear accident. I think the whole marriage thing is like a very big side issue compared to his bigger issue of death.
Yeah, no shit.
But he's not the guy like here's the thing is like this is one of the things about Tales from the Crypt or like this movie for example that makes it so grim is like okay. He has some character flaws. He has some unethical things about him. But he's not someone you watch a movie and you see him doing what he does and you hate him. Like, he's not the bully in an 80s teenager movie,
Right.
Like, that guy you hate and you want to see shit like this happen to that guy. But this is just, this is, okay, so like, okay, he's a lawyer and he gets a mobster off the hook. Okay. It's the American justice system. We want people to have defense lawyers so the government can't throw people in jail, just for whatever. Okay. You don't view a guy like that or like, okay, he's a glutton. Okay. It's something that only hurts him, nobody else. It's like you don't have visceral anger at him harming somebody else for what he does. It has direct effects on people, but you don't have a visceral anger where you're wanting to see him get his just desserts. But, like, at the same time, they get this, like, horrendous, tragic ending because of the character flaws they have. That's what makes Tales from the Crypt so disturbing, so tragic.
Right. And, I mean, you're right as far as this character is that he's not a bad guy. If anything, this whole movie is, like, portraying the fact that he's calling it an accident. He considers it. He did nothing wrong. He was perfect his whole life. He did everything by the book. his little his own personal sin is gluttony. He's eaten way beyond his means and does not, is not really concerned about it. That's, other than that, he's like a good guy overall, except for the fact that he called that clear murder something that he should have told his wife, saying, no, well, you don't want to tell your wife no, but you tell her, like, to hold on, like, let's save the erotic stuff, when we get home. But, he probably hadn't had it in a while, or maybe he has, and either way, he was getting the affection from his wife, and he didn't really want to say no. He's all like, hey, I'm living the good life, nothing as bad as ever happened to me, why not? Something bad, and now he's trying to justify it as, no, I have done nothing wrong, nothing as bad has happened. He even talks to his daughter and trying to explain to her, like, no, yeah. I don't want to admit guilt because I did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
And that's where this whole movie spirals into, like, you did do something wrong, you need to accept it. And, the whole justice thing. And that's where that whole tribe people ended up, saying, we're just going to take justice into our own hand because our justice system failed us. There was a murder, there was no court hearing, there was no trial. It was, there was no justice served, so I took it upon myself to curse this guy. Until shit goes.
A white man from town.
Yeah, that was the greatest thing about this damn movie was they called him White Man from Town. They just kept harassing him like that, so they ended up harassing him right back by writing blood on blank pieces of paper and throwing it, giving it to them, saying, this is from the White Man from Town. Take the curse off.
Which I thought was the stupidest thing is like gypsies from European countries, Eastern Europe, Russia, whatever. They're not like that. Like, they don't come to America. Like, we have a good million gypsy community in America. They're not here. They don't view white people as like, oh, the white people, whatever. Like, they view themselves as, a descendant of European, whatever. So it's like they don't view it that way. It's the same thing with European Jews. Yeah, they're Jews and they have their Semitic bloodline from the Middle East, whatever, but they don't view it as them versus white people. It's like that's the thing. It's like it was just so like Stephen King. I like him as an author. I love his movies and all that stuff. But this is clearly an ignorant of the culture written book.
As far as that goes, yeah. But I think just for the sake of the movie, like I was explaining earlier, I don't know much about these people other than whatever other horror movies I've seen that, you just don't piss off a Romanian tribe people because they'll end up cursing you. So I think he just used... I don't think he was going to go as far as, like, let me do my histories on that. I think his whole idea was, like, I need a bad guy or someone that's going to start this whole trend because I want a curse to be spawned. So I think he just chose those people just for the
Gabe, you're right. That's true because I'll tell you honestly, like, I read about this. He wrote this book he started writing it in 1984. So in 1984, it's not like you have Google and YouTube where you can really dig into it and learn about different obscure ethnic groups. So that's true.
Yeah, honestly, there's just, especially during those times, I highly doubt there was a lot of people that said, like, yeah, like, you know what, let me see if I can correct you. I don't think that's the correct term. Let me go ahead and look in my history books and do some history till I can find the right pronunciation of how these people want to be called. I think a lot of these people, especially during the 80s, I'm one of those people that just said, let me watch the damn movie. Is that really what they're like? I don't know. I'm gonna have to take their word for it.
You just went with you just went with it. You didn't know shit.
Yeah, I'm just like I had no Google. I just had they told me to use encyclopedia. That thing was a pain in the ass to look at, and I was like, for real, like having homework and essays to do, and they said you have to use the encyclopedias. What? I'm not gonna read through all those damn books. I'm just gonna make up my own shit, and if I get it right,
we had the 1972 fucking Wagnalls Encyclopedia at my house. I remember.
Oh man, I don't know what the hell we had. We had like some big ass encyclopedia books, but I was just like, fuck that. This shit's annoying. I ain't gonna. And the same thing with the dictionary was a lot easier to use than a damn encyclopedia. So,
babe, what were you saying about the gypsies? What?
Oh, and Matamoros, because I'm from Brownsville, like people.
Orale.
Yeah, they were freaked out with the gypsies. They would come up and set up their tents just like the way they did in that movie, and so that was pretty accurate. And then like you knew not to go near their stands, right? Or like you're curious, but then your grandma or your aunt would like pull your hair and be like, "Vete pa acá," or like they would tell you like, "No vas para allá," or whatever. Don't go over there.
Yeah.
Or something demonio, or they'll tell it something like that, right?
Which is what the guy's name was Ramon Hernandez. That's the guy working with the Harlan Clark, the old man.
Ramon.
Yeah, Ramon Hernandez. Yeah, that guy. He told me, he was like, I was in Germany. I was stationed in Germany, and they told us, the other servicemen told us, don't go to that gypsy village. They will fuck you up. And they went there, and they got their ass kicked.
You know what's funny is just that I kind of feel like we keep deteriorating, like getting away from the whole fact of how this guy is like trying to get the curse lifted off, and we're more zoned in on the fact of these tribal people are they're stereotyped in, well, as like I said, in damn movies, that they're magical, like they have all the magic. I don't believe in any curses. I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in anything highly spiritual. I'm one of those people, I need to see this to believe it. I don't, honestly, if I'm not seeing nothing, I mean, I'm not believing in it. I need to, even if it's something bad were to happen, oh, that's bad juju. No, I'm sorry, that was just bad coincidence, or I just made a bad decision somewhere along the line. Like, I should have tied my shoes. That was my dumbass fault. There was no juju that made me trip and fall and scar my knee. No, I just didn't tie my shoe. That was my dumbass fault. Honestly, like, I just don't believe in any of that. But it's so funny that we're fixated on these tribal people that we say like, oh no, they are curses. If you get near them, if they tell you because of the sign of the moon is aligned with the stars of, Sagittarius, all of a sudden you're gonna have the worst curse ever. And I'm like, no, I don't think so, man. I just got a bad rash, I shouldn't have been running through those
I should have
trees
slept with that dirty bitch. I tell you that right now.
Damn straight. I shouldn't have had too many beers, That's one Jack Daniels too many, That's what happens. But no, that's the curse of this tribal group. No, I'm sorry. That I don't buy that. That was Jack Daniels right there. Just to go ahead and say, like, it is kind of wrong that we have to stereotype certain people and certain type of things. And again, this is my own ignorance, not understanding more about this tribal group, other than what's ever fixated in the damn movies. I'm all with the story. I love how there's monsters, ghosts, demons, all this stuff. The Omen, Leprechaun, all these fictional monsters. I just love the stories, especially Thinner. I mean, that he starts off like, I'm a great guy, life's going perfect, I have a wonderful daughter, a wife who loves me. Yeah, there might be a little bit of cheating going on, maybe, I don't know, but, life is
But
good.
hey, she blows me on the way back from dinner. That's alright, man.
Exactly. He's like, I'm not worried about it, I'll eat some snack cakes later. She went down on me. Yeah, life's pretty damn good. So, as far as that goes, I mean, I love the damn stories. How, in real life, whether if they're fixed, for those people that really do believe that there is juju and stuff like, I mean, that's that's a personal belief for everybody. Honestly, that kind of stuff. I do not believe it's. I believe in juju and all that as much as I believe at, Jaws or something. A damn leprechaun is going to come out and try to kill me because I stole his gold or something. So
one should never try to take a leprechaun's gold.
Or you stole his Lucky Charms.
Oh, exactly. Well, I don't want to. He can keep the Lucky Charms. That shit is nasty. I don't touch that damn cereal either.
So OJ, dude, OJ. I'm gonna start calling you OJ. So Christopher J, dude. I mean, what's your like overall thoughts of your experience? How was it? What did you throw down on when you were watching this film, and what's your rating, dude, about how the enjoyment, the experience of seeing Thinner, dude?
Dude, this was I don't know if I give it a 9.5 or a straight 10.
Damn.
I don't know if I give it a straight 10, but I love this movie, dude. I was enjoying like it's a fast pace, like you're engaged the entire time. You're wanting to see how it unfolds. It has that darkness where you're empathizing with this protagonist, but at the same time, he's got his flaws, and you want to see if something's going to happen, some kind of Deus Ex Machina, some kind of intervening force going to happen that prevents his tragic demise. And sure enough, it does. It's kind of a weird, twisted babyface ending in a way, and your mind is engaged the entire time, and it has that dark feel. It's like when I watch horror, I want to be genuinely horrified. Like, not even horrified, like I'm scared to death, but I want it to be fucking with my mind. And this movie does that, exactly that.
So, what's your official rating, dude?
You know what? I'm gonna go with 9.5.
Damn. Okay. That's how we're doing things. All right, Gabe. I want to hear. I'm glad Chris enjoyed it like a motherfucker, but I want to hear what your thoughts are on this bad boy, dude.
Well, and like I said, the movie was fun to watch. Like you guys said, this is a Tales from the Crypt type of movie where it's goofy, it has its funny moments, and then all of a sudden it takes a dark turn. It comes back and it does generally keep you interested. Again, I feel like the more horror. This is not really horror. This is more horrifying for the people that have weight issues. I think this is more triggering for them. As far as someone that's a horror lover, I don't feel like there was enough fantasy in here other than the desperation of just trying to lift a curse. So, honestly, it was funny. It kept me generally interested, but there was a reason why I probably didn't rewatch this again since I was younger. So, yeah, it just didn't have that little edge like any of these other fantasy horror movies do. I'll probably end up getting it like about 6.5. It was good, but it wasn't like, hey, this is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. I really enjoyed it, and it's like one of those films that are just like, it's very, very entertaining. Like, I love that it's like, and I'm rating it off of my favorites that are 10s and 9s, and so this one is like not an average horror film. It's a much better than average horror film. That's like, and I'm not saying that like as far as twists and turns, but I liked the characters that were in there. You know what I mean? That's what made it entertaining, much more so than like you were saying. Then this is about a curse. Well. Yeah, I mean, that part was like, it's pretty cool, but I liked, the head gypsy guy. Oh, come on, white man from town. Like, I liked his character. I liked how Billy was selling. I liked fucking Joe Mantegna. Like, all those little, mixture of elements and shit. Like, I liked that about the film. So that's what made it, get over with me. But, yeah, as far as, like you said, actual horror scaring me, like, no, I mean, I really don't get scared, but I like to, like, feel like, okay, I'm getting into this real different world, and it had some good parts. Like, I liked when he's having that dream that he sees I call him the Gypsy King, like Tyson Fury is driving that truck to go ram him. Like, that scared me because I wasn't expecting that at all. I was like, oh shit, you know what I mean? Like, that was one of those good parts. But yeah, 7 out of 10. Yeah, then he wakes up. No, I really enjoyed the film. I'm like, a 7 out of 10 is not at no way is like, oh, it's a shitty film. No, I liked it a lot. It was a good film. So yeah, I give it like a 7 out of 10, dude. Real fun. But it makes me seeing something like this makes me want to do more Stephen King stuff. I don't think we've done too much, so we'll probably start getting on that gimmick, man. But
ooh, you know what was always fun? That was always like a big that had a lot of desperate moments was the classic Cujo.
I knew you were gonna say it, dude.
Oh man, it's just I love that damn movie, man. The damn woman and her son stuck inside a car, and I'm like, oh man, that's a big ass dog.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you can outrun that dog.
Yeah,
it's a fun watch. I enjoy that. With Dee Wallace, that's her name. I want to meet her. I loved her in Howling, but yeah, Dee Wallace though, she's the all-American mom during those times. Well, for a horror movie.
Halloween?
In Halloween? No.
You said Halloween, right?
No, she's just the overall horror type of woman, all-American wife or mother. Like she was in Critters. She was the mom in Critters. She was the mom in E.T. Of course, the mom in Cujo. You know, she plays those motherly roles. And Halloween, she plays the innocent, reporter. You know, she could have been a mother there too. I mean, nobody would have said anything. But yeah, I want to meet her. I like Dee Wallace. She's a good actress.
Chris Dee Wallace ?
Okay, he said a movie called Howling, like
Howling.
The Howling Werewolf movie, yeah.
Oh, funny enough, she takes off her top on that one.
Oh, whoa, pal, whoa.
I'm just throwing that out there in case anybody wanted a reason to watch that.
Can we watch that? Chris is like, can we watch that next? Rose, hello?
I'm not. No, I'm going to be like I thought you said Halloween. I see the Howling. Okay.
He's like, oh shit. All right, everyone. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. And Christopher J.
Man, you gotta be shitting me. That mother's strong.
Yeah, we'll see you on the next one.